Hello, FlossTube friends. Today is Monday, October the 16th, and I'm Kathleen. This is Kathleen's Trodden Trail on FlossTube, a channel mostly about cross-stitch, but also about a few other things. I am back after a long hiatus in which I told you I wouldn't be gone for so long, but I was winding down my last few months of work and working. I've had my own company for the last almost 23 years, working contract for other small companies that needed some back office help. And one company in particular that I worked for all of those 23 years. And so effective October 1st, I'm officially retired. It's very exciting. I was more than ready to be retired. But I just found in those last few months, before retirement, it was just, my time was not conducive to doing FlossTube videos. So, and I really considered just not doing videos anymore. But I miss the community. Even though I have made friends through the years. I think I've been doing videos for about 5 years now. And even though I've made so many great friends through those 5 years, there's just people that you don't get to talk to on a regular basis that you hear from when you do a video, or it sparks a conversation between somebody that, between me and somebody that I wouldn't otherwise get a chance to talk to. And so I just miss that. And I just decided I have the time now and I wanted to do videos again. So, I haven't changed. I still have way too many projects, way too many WIPs, way too many new starts. That hasn't changed. I think I'm the queen of new starts, or I really have been over the last few months. One of the things I've kind of noticed about myself, I've been trying to sort of take stock of what my methods are. And one of the things that I noticed about myself is that if I set myself to some kind of a schedule or rotation in my WIPs, then I'll do that for a few days, and then I'll see a squirrel and I'll go run off and, start a new project, or somebody will put something on their video that I know had been working on 6 months ago or whatever, and I'll decide I'm in the mood to work on that, and I'll go work on that. Or I'll start something with the intent of working on it for a day or a few days, and I won't want to put it down, and I'll want to finish it. And then once I get off that rotation, which I've never done any rotation for more than a few days, then it's like if you've ever been on a diet and you go off the diet, and you don't just go off the diet, you go really off the diet. Maybe you weren't eating really bad before the diet, but you want to lose a few pounds. So you go on the diet, and then you go off the diet, and then you just really eat everything in sight. It's like that. And so I almost think it's better for me not to start a rotation or a schedule or anything, because then I seem to be worse once I go off of it, which I inevitably will do because that's just who I am. So I don't know how many WIPs I have. I have a lot of WIPs, and a lot of purchase charts that aren't WIPs yet, but will be at some point in time. I did go through all of my charts in the late winter, and I have an Excel spreadsheet that I keep all of my charts in, and several different files, one just a list of all the charts kind of in the order that they were purchased, and then I have another one that has all my samplers, and another one that has like all of my very favorites, like all of my Brenda Gervais, all of my Plum Street samplers, Blackbird, that kind of thing. But I went through all of them and weeded out a whole bunch that I don't think I'm going to do anymore. Maybe they were purchased 4 or 5 years ago and they're just not really my style anymore. Maybe I just have decided I no longer, care for them or whatever. So I have a pile of those, and I will give those away. And so we'll start doing giveaways. Of course, I forgot to bring the pile down, but I will run and get those at some point during this video, and we'll do a giveaway. And I'll start doing giveaways hopefully every single video because I have quite a few of those. So I wheedled those down, not by a whole lot compared to how many there were, but you know, some percentage of them is in a pile to be given away. I've already given a few away to friends, but yeah, there's quite a few, and there are also a few that that I completed that I'll give away. So I use Notes Plus Pro to keep my charts and to work from, and so all of my charts are in really, really great condition. They're not highlighted. They're not, unless Bindi has gotten to them, they're in really good condition. So and then I went through, that was in late winter that I went through all of my charts, and then in middle of the summer, towards the end of the summer, I went through all of my WIPs and wheedled out anything that I didn't think that I would want to do. Took the fabric out, took the needle out, put the floss back, decided whether it was worth it to, you know, keep the fabric and unstitch or just get rid of it, the project, you know, completely. And again, I have a few of those that I'll give away at some point as well. There weren't as many of those. Most everything that I went through, I planned to stitch. There were a couple of things that I had kind of designed on my own that I was stitching that I no longer, you know, some event in the world happened and I wanted to stitch something along, you know, to remind me of that event. And now I'm just really not at that place anymore. And so I've, you know, gotten rid of those. But otherwise, I still have a lot of WIPs. And so what I thought I would do today, I had someone ask me to do a WIP parade, and so I will. I think I will do a WIP parade. I never have, mostly because I have so many. But I know that there are people who have hundreds of WIPs who have done WIP parades and just broken them up. And so what I did is I have all my WIPs in our family room. We have a wardrobe, a big antique wardrobe in there, and I have that wardrobe has my spring and 4th of July WIPs. It also has all of my Blackbird charts in it, and some charts that really didn't fit into any category are at the bottom. And then I have another big, what would you call that, a dresser, I guess, but it's in the family room. But it doesn't look like a dresser, but it's kind of tucked in a corner, and it's antique, and it's neat in there. And it has 3 sections in it, and that has all of my fall and Halloween in it. And then I have another huge cabinet that I think it's also an antique cabinet, and I think it was for potatoes. It has these amazing drawers that are just ginormous, 2 amazing ginormous drawers, and they scoop. And so those hold all of my Christmas, is that all of Christmas? Yeah, those hold all of my Christmas WIPs. And then there are built-in cabinets over by the television, where the television is, and those have my current WIPs, like what I'm currently working on. And so what I decided to do is, as we go through the season, so right now that cabinet has mostly all of my Halloween. I'm not doing any fall only charts this year because I'm not decorating for fall. So we'll talk about that in a second. But so that cabinet has all of my Halloween and Christmas, all the ornaments for the kids and Christmas that I want to get done in that cabinet, as well as a few other things that I've, you know, either purchased and started kind of on the fly, or just things that I've wanted to work on that I've, you know, every once in a while. Like, do you ever do this? You see somebody's working on something and you think, oh, I have that, I want to work on that, and you work on it. And so what I thought I would do, so what I did today is I pulled out just a stack of those, what I could pull out all at one time and carry over here and precariously perch on this chair next to me. And I'll just, each time my thought is maybe I'll do a video once every 10 days or so, maybe let's say once every 7 to 14 days, somewhere in there. And I'll kind of do that. I'll pull out a stack of those, and we'll go through those. And then, and here in the next few days, I'm going to take all of the Halloween stitching and put it all away. Whatever's not done isn't done. It'll wait for June when I work on Halloween again, or if I get a wild hair and I want to work on Halloween at another time. My voice is kind of seems a little bit hoarse to me. I don't know. I think it's because I just haven't talked all day. But so I'll put away all of Halloween. I'll have out only Christmas, and maybe a couple of big charts that I just kind of want to work on here and there, and then we'll just do that for the next however many months until we get through all of my WIPs. And we'll just kind of see how that goes. And if you enjoy it, let me know. If it's too much and you're bored and you just want to see new stuff or whatever, let me know that too. Whatever. I'm kind of doing this because several people have asked me to do it, and I've been inspired by other people who have done it. And so we'll just kind of go from there and see how it works out. So, but today I do want to start with a few finishes. I've had several more than this. I've had quite a few giveaways, but I want to start with a few finishes that I've finished since the last time I saw you, which I think was in March or April. I think it was maybe in April. And I've stitched a good amount in that time and finished quite a bit. But I've done something unusual for me. Typically, when I finish something stitched, I'll go straight upstairs and finish it. However, I spent some time in Kansas City this summer with my daughter for a couple different reasons, things she needed help with down there, and did a lot of stitching down there, and then brought it back and continued on to other stitching, and haven't done the finishing on those pieces. So I have not a lot, but I have several small pieces that the stitching is done, but I haven't FFO'd them, so I'm going to have a day of finishing. I'm also trying something a little bit different here today. I'm filming on my husband's iPad, and then I have my iPad sitting here so that I can show you the charts, not the charts, but the pictures of any WIPs that I have that are in Notes Pro Plus that I don't have pictures of, because I typically don't print pictures of those. My dog is whining over here, and I'm not sure what she's whining about. Come here, baby. I don't know if she wants to go outside or what her issue is. I think it's because I'm talking to somebody and she can't figure out who I'm talking to. So I have done some, even just this last weekend, I did quite a bit of crocheting. I have a blanket that I'm making, and I'm making a regular crocheted blanket, and then I have a granny square blanket in the works. And then I've made some head wraps for winter, one for me and a couple for gifts. And then, but I didn't bring any of that over here. It's just, there's enough here with cross stitch. The only thing that isn't cross stitch that I did bring over is I joined the shabby, what is it? Shabby Fabrics? I think it's Shabby Fabrics. Wool kit of the month. And okay, so my usual thing, we had to let the dogs out, and then we had temperatures, I think, in the 30s, upper 30s last night, and it was pretty chilly in the house this morning, and we had the heat on. And I got dressed in this. It's just a super lightweight flannel, and it's warmed up. It's especially warm on the side of the house where I'm sitting, so I turned on the air conditioning rather than go change, just because I'm getting really hot already off the bat. Okay, I'll have to run and let the dogs in here in a second. But Shabby Fabrics, wool of the month, and this is Halloween. It's probably covered in cat hair. This is the Halloween one. I'm almost finished with it. I just have to, I think, attach these two E's and these two last letters, and maybe this E, I think, needs a little bit more. And the sun is coming out, and whoa, it's really washed out there. And so just super cute, super easy. It comes with backing also, which is just kind of double that, another piece of this black. And I think I will probably put this, I was thinking above the door, but I think it might be too wide. So I can either think about narrowing it, which would be okay. I think I could probably narrow it a little bit. Put it above the door, or there's a spot where I can hang it down from the fireplace. And yeah, just really nice. The wool that it comes with, it's felted wool. It's really lovely. And yeah, so that's kind of fun. Okay, let's just go through. Here's just a combination of finishes that I've had in the last little bit. And most of these are just stuck in frames. They're not, in fact, I think all of them are. They're not laced yet or, anything fun done with them. This one in particular is not going to stay in this frame. This is from this year's edition of the Halloween Cross Stitch magazine. And I started this poor guy over 3 times. It was all DMC. I did not have the orange DMCs that it called for. And so, which was 3 different colors of orange. You can kind of see it's kind of a medium orange, a light orange here through the middle to give some light on it, and then the dark orange for the outlining. And so I tried to come up with my own colors, and I could not get that look. I completed the pumpkin with 3 different colors and hated it. It looked so bad. And so I went out to Reflections and got the correct, as a matter of fact, I didn't get DMC. I ended up asking Julie to put together 3 colors that she thought would work. And so she put these 3 together. I explained that it was for a pumpkin, and she put together these 3 colors, and it looks great. And so I just thought the little spider webs were really cute. And I had this frame. I actually had a chicken in it, a print of a chicken in it. And I took it out and put this in it because I thought it kind of matched. And so that's one finish. And just that was not as quick, more stitching in that than you think, not as quick really as you would have thought. And then every time I see this, I just crack up. This, I believe, I was going to look this up before I started. I think this is by Stitchy. Is it Stitchy Witch? I have a whole bunch of her charts. It's by, I can't remember now if this was by Salt and Pepper. I almost feel like it was. And that is salt. Let's see, how does she say? Salt and Pepper Stitching. It's Etsy, and on Etsy she goes by Emily Call. So Emily, EMILYCALL. I think that's who this is by. I got it last year with the intent to do it last year and never got it done. And I was just kind of going through all of my Halloween stitching from last year, and I saw it, and I stitched. It was a really, really, really quick stitch. Stitched it up super quick, and I just think my 2 youngest are Ryan and Madeline, and they're 15 months apart. And Maddie was always almost as big as Ryan. Ryan was kind of small for his age. She was bigger for her age when they were little. And I mean, I don't know. I just think this reminds me so much of them, going trick or treat. They're little zombie people. I don't know. I just thought it was super cute. And then it had the mushrooms and I thought it was, yeah. So anyway, or you can go to thewitchystitcher.com. And I love her chart. She has some very different charts. She has some charts, she specializes in Halloween, obviously, Witchy Stitcher. And she has some really fun, kind of subversive charts. A few that would not be my style, that are maybe a little bit too risque, or just, I don't like super scary, gory Halloween kind of things. But she also has her number one. Her charts are beautifully done. They're just perfect. They're easy to read. They're, everything about them is great. And her colors are just really fantastic. So I saw this. So I'll show it to you. This is called I believe this is called the Frosted Pumpkin by the Witchy Stitcher. Oh boy, what a glare. Let's see, I think that's a little bit better. I saw this and was immediately drawn to it because of the snow and the idea that there would be snow on Halloween. I grew up in Colorado, and we, you know, I won't say often had snow on Halloween, but we had snow on Halloween sometimes. And I thought this was so pretty, and so this was one of those things I saw. I think she posted it maybe like on Instagram or whatever, and I immediately went and got the chart and got the colors and started it. And I think this is all done in DMC, and it's all the called for. I think it's DMC 310. It's, I think, 3 different oranges. I can't remember if it's Blanc. Oh, it's Blanc and Ecru. So the ghosts are in Ecru and the snow is in Blanc. And then a silver color for the tombstones. And that's it. There were like 6 colors, 5 or 6 colors. And I just absolutely loved it. The only thing I did change is the cat's eyes were in orange, and I thought it made him look too creepy, so I changed it, and you really can't tell from here, but I changed it to green. No, I changed it to kind of a gold. But anyway, I just love this. Also, I talked to several different people, friends, when I was finished, and showed them, you know, the finished piece, and I said, what kind of a frame? And a couple people said black, and then my friend Colleen said, what about an orange frame? And so this is a cheap Walmart frame that was, I think, gray, and I painted it. I painted it black and painted this orange and whatever, putrid gold and black and whatever, and I love how it looks. I really need to lace this, and this will stay in this frame, but I think it's so fun. I could look at that all day. Do you ever do that? Like, you stitch something and and it's not perfect. I mean, there aren't a lot of mistakes in this. I think that the biggest thing were the trees. I kind of went rogue on a couple parts of the trees, just because, you know, they're trees, and it's like, oh, my count was off. Oh, that's okay. That's not going to make a difference, you know. But other than that, I mean, like the house, there aren't a lot of mistakes in it, which is unusual for me because my cross stitch usually has a ton of mistakes. But, you know, you finish something like that and you're just like, and that is completely a credit to the designer, not to me. And you're just thinking, I can't believe I stitched that. I mean, I know compared to what y'all stitch, and it's nothing, but I was very happy with it. This was a piece that I did over the summer, but I left it up through September because I thought it kind of lent itself a little bit, because of the birds, a little bit to and I see there's a cat hair in under the glass, so I'm gonna have to reframe this. It needs to be reframed anyway. I thought it lent itself to kind of that August, September. You know, I had like bees and sunflowers up. And I don't remember who this is. But I think this is one of the charts that's a giveaway. So again, if you really, really want to know who this is, let me know and I'll go find the chart and look it up. But it kind of looks like Not Forgotten Farm a little bit, but I don't think it is. I think it's somebody unusual, like somebody that I had never stitched anything of theirs before. And I did it on that checkered fabric, and that was really nice to stitch on. I can't remember if it felt to me like it was a week's fabric, and I don't know that it was, but it was a kind of a really loose weave, but it was, you know, easy enough to stitch on, and I was really pleased with how that came out. I think that's also all DMC and all the called for. Yeah, so I was very happy with that, and that's up in my office now until it can come out again. Okay, so those are kind of FFOs, and then these are ones that I stitched that are not in any way, shape, or form finished, but they are ironed, and I should put them on something. I think I'll use this iPad to do that. Okay, this is a Teresa Kogut. I think it's sorry, this is a little slippery. Let me try something a little different here. Using my husband's iPad. This is a Teresa Kogut. I think it's from her Patreon. I am a member of her Patreon, and very worth it. I think I'm level 4 or whatever the highest level is, and oh my gosh, I almost get too many charts because I want to do them all, and there's just no way to do them. I mean, we get a lot of charts, but this was, I'm pretty sure this was a release. I need to do this better, but anyway, I think this was a release by her this summer, because I know I worked on it at my daughter's house when I went down to Kansas City in August. And I don't think I did this in any of the called for, just what I had. And I just love it. I love that Santa. But I have a question for you all. So obviously it's sewing, right? And is it backwards to you guys, Dear Santa? I can't tell if I don't think it's backwards to you, but obviously, so scissors and a spool of yarn, which I think turned out really cute. I don't know if this is like a stack of books or something along those lines. More scissors here. But what is the bird standing on, and what is Santa holding in his hand here? I could not figure that out. Another little spool over here. I love how those spools turned out. So anyway, really like that. I think it's called Dear Santa. And I think that's from her Patreon. Also from her Patreon, I think, does she every month release an ornament? I think, maybe not every month, but this is the ornament that she released at the same time that she released the Santa. And then she later released a big scene with this deer in it. But this is just the ornament. I'm going to put this in it fits perfectly in one of those small little hoops. And I think that turned out very, very sweet. I don't know if that was on there, 2023 was on there, or if I added it, but yeah, maybe it was on there. And then was this Teresa? This is not Teresa. Oh, this is, I don't remember who this is either, you guys. I'm so sorry. Again, if you want to know, I remember I saw this and sent a picture to my daughter and said, do you like this? And she said yes, and this is going to be her ornament. It's a little on the big side, but this is going to be her ornament for Christmas. Again, it turned out super cute. Making sure there's not somebody here. The dogs are barking at something. Anyway, just really, really sweet and cute with that little Santa, and I love his hat, and then the bunny. I did some extra little star stitches on the bunny after I cross-stitched it, just on the bunny's tail, just to make it stand out a little bit more. I think this one also is not stitched in any of the called for. I think it was DMC, and I stitched his coat in a Gloriana red, and I have been doing so much in Gloriana. I absolutely love Gloriana. Okay, this is one I just started and finished today. I'm also a member of Liz Matthews' Patreon, and I have something else to show you that I had done on a big piece of fabric, and I finished that this morning and then cut the fabric up so I could use it on other things. And let me go see what they're barking at. Okay. I went to see what the dogs were barking at, and I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to change. I was just too hot. So, even with the AC on, it was too hot. I'm not sure where I was. I had a large piece of fabric that I was doing a small piece on, and I finished it this morning and then cut the excess fabric out so I could use it for some other smalls. And I am a member of Liz Matthews' Patreon as well, and I think yesterday she released a couple of fall pieces, on her Patreon, and one was a kind of a Quaker-esque tree that I will do at some point. But the other one was just this little boo, and I thought it was so cute. And I had a little bit of, it was Classic Colorworks. Oh gosh, it was one of the golds. It was like brazen something. And I just quick stitched that up, and I think that's so cute. And I don't know if I'll make it into a little pillow or do something, I don't know, put it on, make a little miniature drum out of it or something. But I just thought that was so unbelievably cute, and it stitched up in like a couple hours, so that was really fun. This fabric is something I also wanted to talk about. This is, it's actually a piece of Aida, if you can tell. And it is by Cedar River Linens, which is Trixie Tricycle. And she had started doing dyeing, and I know that Brenda and Laura have talked about her. I'm sure lots of other people have talked about her. I think I heard about that she was dyeing on her floss tube, but so I thought I would try it, and I bought a couple pieces of linen. Probably midsummer, and I don't want to stitch on anything else. And this is the first time that I've stitched on the Aida. I mostly bought linen, and I just bought a couple pieces of the Aida. It is phenomenal. It is such beautiful fabric. She doesn't have a ton of colors. She has this green, and then a real pretty red, and then several kind of neutrals that are just gorgeous. But it is just, it's soft, it's luscious, it stitches up beautifully. I absolutely love it. I recommend it to anybody. And her, now, of course, this will change as she gets busier and has more customers and all of that, but her delivery, I mean, I've gotten, so I ordered the first couple pieces and, got them in like a week or something. And then I ordered a whole stack, like kind of one of everything in the counts that I like. And I had it within days. It was just really quick. I know she has a process where she only mails out on certain days of the week or every other week or whatever. So I'm sure a lot of it has to do with when you order, but it's still very quick, all things considered. So if you check her out, Cedar River Linens, I think is the actual name. And it's Trixie Tricycle, and I can't recommend her enough. Her fabrics are just phenomenal. This is the piece that I started on that green. This is Brenda Gervais from the little Halloween book with all the, is it Jubilee, or do I have it over here? I don't think I do, but, and it's just the two cats and the two pumpkins. I've stitched this and finished it for me. It's sitting over there. This is for a gift for someone. And, what to say about it? It's Brenda Gervais. I was really struggling with what to stitch for this person. I wanted to give them a stitch piece Halloween, and I know she likes cats, so that kind of answered that question. I will say I regretted doing this on the Aida because the eyes and the nose on the cats are over 1. And that is really tough to do. This is also 18 count Aida, so it was hard to do those eyes and the nose, and I'm not sure that they turned out great, but it's fine. And I'll make that into a little pillow as well. Okay. Now I'm not going to show you that. I did for my daughter, I did one of the more, I think that's what they're called, subversive charts from the Witchy Stitcher, and it's just a little ghost with a little saying that I think 20-somethings use when they're talking to each other, and it doesn't have a bad word, it just has not a great word. And so anyway, I was showing my daughter because I knew she'd think it was funny, and she was like, oh, that is so funny, that is so me. And so I just stitched it up for her. It took me like an hour. So also from the Witchy Stitcher, and I didn't have any of the called for. I saw this on Saturday night and I stitched it on Sunday morning. Maybe I started it on Saturday night, and it has cat hair too. But the idea behind it, this was just a piece of linen that I had in my stash. The idea behind it is 2 little ghosts roasting marshmallows, and I just thought that was so cute. I thought that was so funny. But I didn't have exactly the right colors, and so I tried to use kind of what I had that would work, and I think some of the shading isn't the best just because of my colors, not because of me. Again, her charts are fantastic, and her the way she does color is really great. But anyway, I'll just make a little pillow out of that. I just thought that was really cute. Okay, that's it for FF or for finishes. Let's start the I don't know how far in we're 41 minutes in. Oh boy. We'll start the I can't even think of what it's called, the WIP Parade. And we'll start the WIP Parade and then see how far we get and how long it takes. There's a bunch I can cut out as well when I go to get the dogs and all that kind of stuff. So but let's just dive in, and we'll kind of see. You're going to see a mix of Christmas and not Christmas and all kinds of stuff. So we're just going to go for it here. Okay, hands-on design. This came out maybe like at Market or right around Market, and I just loved it. There were a couple of other hands-on design charts that I got to make for my daughter, my youngest daughter. They're the kitchen ones. I don't have them here. They're upstairs with the charts that are non-WIPs. But anyway, when I was ordering those, I saw this and had to order this. I just thought it was precious. I love a Christmas town of any sort. However, I have started this twice, and again, no disrespect to Kathy Haberman. I did not have all of the colors. I'm pretty sure it's all DMC. Is it all DMC? Yep, all DMC, all 6 whole colors, and I didn't have like 3 of the 6. And so I thought, well, I kind of was thinking that I didn't want that in black. Well, that's actually not black. It's actually $37.99, so it's that dark brown. And then I thought that looked brown, but that's actually done in 730, which is a kind of a real brassy green. And the red is 3830, which is kind of an orangey red. So anyway, I love the way this looks, except for I kind of wanted to soften that, although I think I don't think it needs softening. I think it's just the picture. I don't think it's as dark as it looks. And but I didn't have great colors that went together, and I wanted to use silks, and I really only had, so I tried it once and with some grouping of colors, and I hated it, and I scrapped it and started it over. I had like half of the Mary done. And then I realized that wasn't done in black, that it was done in $37.99 or whatever. Is that right? $37.99? Yeah. And so I went and pulled a Florimel, which is a Gloriana. I'll show you if you haven't seen these. I get these from Teresa, Shakespeare's Peddler or Kitten Stitcher. She sells the Florimel Gloriana in her shop. And this is coffee bean, and so it's a nice dark, as you can see, a nice dark, like I think kind of like $37.99. And then I was using 733, and is that one of the called for? No. Yeah, it is one of the called for. I did have that, and then I found this other green that I had to do Christmas in, and I'm not sure. As I'm looking at it here, maybe I like it, but it's not very Christmassy to me. I think this is the 3830, which I guess isn't really an orangey. It's more of a terracotta. Looks kind of orange there, doesn't it? I don't know. Tell me what you think. I like this chart enough that I'd be willing to scrap this. This isn't even actually cross stitch fabric. This is linen that I get from Blackberry Primitives, but I've been able to cross stitch on it. It's a very uneven linen it's more used for different kinds of needlepoint and for like wool applique. But I like it for cross stitch too. It takes a little bit of concentration to stitch on it. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I don't think that's very Christmassy at all. This is green down here, but you can't really see it. And then see, there's green in the middle of the poinsettias, but those look kind of yellow. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to start that over again and use like real traditional Christmas colors. But then if I do that, what do you think? You know, what do I use for the Mary? Like maybe a gold or something? I don't know. Maybe I just get the DMCs and go with that. Okay, Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It's a British company. I think they're in London. I'm not sure, but they're in England, and they do great kits. They do this great thing, kind of like Luca S kits, where when you order their kits, all the thread comes like this, which is wonderful. And they do tend to be a little bit more cutesy than I like, but they came out with a mystery stitch along called Christmas Wonderland that Sew Me Sarah on FlossTube has been showing, and I went ahead and bit the bullet and joined, and everything comes, it's just beautifully packaged. And now they also, I don't believe, have linen, but they have even weave and Aida. And so here's the beginning, kind of a long, dumb story. I ordered it over the summer, when it first came out, and it does take a while to get their things. I'm in, the middle of the United States, and they're in England. And I got it and kind of forgot about it, other than what I would see Sarah, showing and talking about it. And then the first chart came out, the first section of the pattern came out, which was the tree and the ice skating pond. And I still didn't think I had received the kit. And then I started questioning myself and thinking, well, maybe I didn't order the kit. Maybe I just ordered. So I waited. I thought, well, let's wait a little bit longer. It'll probably get here soon. And so I waited, and finally the second part of the kit came out. So then I went and looked, or not the kit, the second part of the chart came out. And so then I went and looked, and sure enough, I ordered the kit. And I thought, well, that's so strange. I haven't received it yet. Should I? And I looked on my account, my Caterpillar Cross Stitch account, and I saw that it was fulfilled. The order was, it showed fulfilled, like finished. And I thought, that's really weird. I wonder if it got lost in the mail. Should I let them know? And so I was just kind of trying to think about what to do and how to handle that. And I happened to I have over by the television in the family room, where I have in the cabinets where I have all my WIPs, there's a bookshelf, and I have a bookshelf and a bookend, and I keep like my daily stitch journal and my daily devotional and meditations and a calendar and just that kind of stuff. My Bibles over there, all that kind of stuff. And I happen to glance over there, and I see sticking out, like tucked in there, this. And I was like, well, what's that? I know that's a Caterpillar Cross Stitch, packaging. What is that? And I pull it out, and it came months ago. And I think I got it, and I think I was cleaning house, and so I stuck it over there thinking, okay, well, when the chart comes out, I'll be ready to go. And then I completely forgot about it. So thank goodness I didn't say something to Caterpillar Cross Stitch, like, I never got the chart. It never came, because it came. And it must have gotten here really quickly, too. Anyway, it's lovely. My stitching on even weave is never great, but it'll be fine once it's all done, and I think I stitched too tight. It's a cute chart. It's got a lot of stitching, and I have a little bit, quite a bit. I have to fill in the pond and then finish the buildings over here before the next part comes out, which I think will be next week, I think it'll be next week. So, okay, started this last year. I went through all of my Christmas WIPs, which there are a lot. I don't know if I have more Halloween, fall, or more Christmas, but there's a lot of both. And pulled out a few things that I know I want to get done this year. And this was a start from last year, and I just love it. It's Priscilla or Stitching with the Housewives, Santa's Candy Cane Lane. And it looks like that, and it's very, very cute. I love, I'm collecting anything with Santa and the reindeer flying over towns. I'm stitching those and collecting those kind of things. And this wasn't quite that, but it sure was cute. I just thought I love a village. I love any kind of a village. This is super, super wrinkled, you guys. I think this is on a piece of Old Weeks. And oh my goodness, it's so wrinkled. I'm almost embarrassed to show you, but I have a really decent start. Oh, I didn't think there were reindeer, but there are 2 little reindeer guys here. So let's see, what do I have done? I have 2 buildings. Santa's done, and I have 2 of the 4 buildings. Well, I have 1 totally completed and 1 almost finished, and then I have 2 more buildings to go, and all the snowflakes and the candy cane lane in the words. So I have a fair amount left to do on that, and I would really, really like to get that done for this year. So that's high on my to-do list. I don't know who got me into Luca S. It was either Pam at Stitching Between the Lines, or it was Sarah at Sew Me Sarah. I think it was one of those 2, or both of them. But somebody, found Luca S. and started talking about Luca S. kits, and I was like, oh, let me take a look, and blah, blah. And so now I get the Luca S. emails, and, I could put, like, unsubscribe or whatever and let them know I don't want their almost daily emails, it seems like. But they have sales all the time, and they have all kinds of things. And so they had, I don't know, I got an email from them, and it was like, yada yada, we're having a sale or something. Something inspired me to go look, and I found this, and I know a lot of y'all don't like mice. I don't like mice in my house, but I love mice. I like stitching mice. I think they're adorable. I know, I said that to the exterminator a couple months back, and he was like, they carry diseases and they're horrible and blah, 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 and they ruin things and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know, I don't want them in my house, but I'm sorry, I think they're cute. So anyway, little mouse carrying his Christmas tree. I think The Mouse and the Motorcycle was one of the very first books I ever read that I absolutely loved, and I read that book like over and over and over again. I think that's part of my affinity for mice. I mean, yeah. What is it called when you put human feelings and emotions on animals? Why can't I think of that word? Anyway, okay, and don't send me a whole bunch of mice hate comments because it's not going to matter. I don't want them in my house. I'm not saying I want them in my house. I don't want them in my chicken coop. You would be shocked to know what chickens do to mice. There are no mice in my chicken coop. The chickens, they are so mean to poor little mice, especially babies. It is frightening. Chickens are, I think I read one time that chickens are the only direct descendants of dinosaurs that still are on the earth. And you see that sometimes when anyway, they can be really mean. I'm trying to figure out which way this orients. I think it must go this way, yeah. So it's on this really fun, it's Ada, which I don't love, but it's real sparkly, really sparkly. And this is his little scarf here. And then you can see a little bit the beginnings of his little mustache or whatever that is. Oops. It's really fun. And, it's just so easy to sit down. You get the kit in the mail, right? Oh, and I have another one that I bought that I probably won't start this year. That is huge. That's a whole Christmas scene, like a city Christmas scene. It's really beautiful. But you get the kits and you can literally open them and start them. It has a needle, it has the fabric, it has all the flosses ready to go and the chart. And, you know, it's so easy to just go for it. Okay, another one that I want to get done this year that I put high on my list, and it probably won't happen. Oh, and I was going to talk about this earlier. So, I was, I think, on Instagram the other day, and I saw, let me see if I can find it. And I think a lot of you have seen this because she did it at a retreat. She must have done it maybe like at the Farm Girl retreat last year or at some point in time. Brenda Gervais has a release coming out. Let me see if I can find it. And she put a little teaser about it. It's called Winter Solstice, the Light of Winter. And in my opinion, it matches perfectly the Noel sampler that I did last year, finished last year. And it's gorgeous. And I decided that I think she said it's going to get released in the next few days. I think I will probably kit that up and start it immediately. So that'll be another start. Because I have Noel sampler up there and I would love to have it hanging next to a Noel sampler. Okay, Kringles. So I started this several years ago. I think I saw it first. Pam, Stitching Between the Lines, was starting it, and she's finished, and hers is gorgeous, gorgeous. And I started it, and then I saw, 5 million squirrels, and this is only as far as I have gotten. All the called for, it's not a difficult stitch at all. It's very easy. It's just a lot of stitches. There's a lot to that brick and, like the Kringle sign down here. But I still love it. I in fact, that's one that I may be done with Halloween. I keep telling myself I'm done with Halloween, and then I think because I have all of the kids' ornaments done except for one, which is about halfway done. I think because of that, I feel like I'm good to go for Christmas. But when I stop and look at all the stuff that I have that I want to stitch, I'm nowhere close. Okay, Country Cottage Needleworks Big City Christmas, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not sure if that's all or if there's one more coming, or if no. I'm thinking there's at least one more coming. Had to let the dog in again. Okay, I'm doing these all as one piece, and not necessarily in the order that they came, and so I'm actually kind of switching up the order a little bit. But I have the first one completely done. The second one, which is, let's see, what is the first one? The first one is the Denver Dry Goods. Okay, the first one is the department store, and then the second one, I believe, is the theater. Yep, that's the theater. And then I think there's one here. I don't know what that's going to be. And then I just couldn't wait to start on the, what is this one called? Street Scene, which is the taxi cab, the yellow taxi cab in the tree. Again, I love it. I love it. Again, not difficult stitching, just, a lot of stitches. So, that's high on my list to get done this year as well. Really, really high on my list. Okay, this was for, everything just went kerplunk. And I need to pick it up now. Okay. Sorry, everything fell, and so I had to. Okay, this was one that I really like this. This is kind of different from my typical style for Christmas, but I thought this was really pretty. I just liked it. It's kind of back to that, the scene kind of thing. I loved the train. I love the Santa and the Mrs. Santa and the Coco and all of that good stuff. I don't think this will get done for this year, but there's a lot to it. I'm sorry, it's Primrose Cottage Stitches, lovely book. And there's my start on that. Welcome to the pole is what it says right now. Love the colors, nice and bright, very pretty. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to put that one aside, and it's not going to be, just because, you know, I just started it this year. I mean, it's not one that I've had going forever and ever. Okay, these were not in any particular order. Now I'm back on Halloween and I have a hair in my mouth. This is Halloween crystal ball. That's just a portion of it. There's a crystal ball up here with a cat and a house and an owl. This is one that I started over 16 times. I think I started it over like 3 times. And I love it. It's on very, very tight woven. I think it's supposed to be 36 count, but it's very tight woven. And so it's just a little bit slow going, but I love it. And I really wanted to get this done this year, and I didn't spend enough time on it. But it's still high on my list, and that's another one that I'm not doing. Sorry, picking up thread that I dropped. That I'm not doing with any of the called for, that I'm just, I've substituted, and I have a lot of silks in that one. Okay. Little gnome bag. I don't even particularly like gnomes. Back to Halloween. Went round and round with what I wanted to make a friend for her Halloween birthday, and decided on the Brenda Gervais cats and got those done. But at one point in time, I thought I would make her this. And I think I'm going to end up keeping this for myself. And it's called Boo Cat. And actually got a decent amount of the way done. But isn't that, it's very sweet. It's an old Brenda Gervais. I ordered it from her shop. Country Stitches, I think, is the name of it. I don't even know what this is, so your guess is as good as mine on this. Oh, more of this. Oh. Oh. Okay. More of so this is also Cedar River, but this is linen. And this is a new start, and I don't even know if I think it goes this way. And this is a chart that I'll have to show you on my iPad. This is a chart by Tiny Modernist, and it's called Edgar Allan Poe Tree, and it looks like that. I'm not sure. It's all in black and white. I mean, I think the picture's in black and white too. Yeah, it is. Well, there's a little color there to the left. I don't know. It's kind of a funky looking picture. But it's, a tiered tray. An Edgar Allan Poe tiered tray. And I just thought it was, I love Edgar Allan Poe for one thing. But yeah, it goes like that. So that's just the very middle of the tray. The chandelier. This is going to get put away until next year. But I started this, I think I had 3 or 4 new starts one night last week, and they were all Halloween. I think they were all Tiny Modernist. So, golly Moses, I keep dropping stuff. Okay, here's another one. This one is very uneven fabric. Isn't that pretty? It's cedar River linen again, and that one is another Tiny Modernist. Oh goodness, it's the Pumpkin Coach. Let me get a bigger picture of it for you. It's that one. I think that's Tiny Modernist, isn't it? No, I'm so sorry. That isn't. It's called Every Flower, and it's okay. Scratch what I just said. That one's called Every Flower, and it is a Teresa Kogut. And I'll show you a picture of it. Every flower has a story. It's that one. Really neat, folksy looking chart. And that's what that one is. Oh, that's right. I started a bunch of Teresa Kogut. Here are all the flosses. Aren't those so pretty? I love these corals with the blue, with the soft blue greens and the browns. Oh, really, really pretty. I'd like to put a few stitches in that. This one is, okay, I marked this, Sarah Levy. Okay, so this is another Teresa Kogut. And it looks like this. These are all from her Patreon. I've never really done any roses, any cross-stitch roses, and I have several friends who love to do florals, and I wanted to see, I wanted to give it a shot and give it a try. And so here is the beginning of that. Yeah. I'm excited to get a couple of those roses done. I think they're really pretty, and the shading on them will be a lot of fun. Okay, this one, that's right. This one is Pumpkin Coach that I showed you, and I need to find fabric for it. I have all the floss, but I need to find fabric for it. So that is another one that'll get put away for this year. What is this? Oh, okay. This is, let me find this. This is, isn't that pretty? Also from her Patreon. And I have a little start on it. I thought this was so pretty. The colors were just beautiful. Now, one thing that I'm struggling with a little bit on here, how do I want to say this? I don't usually stitch angels, and there's a little angel up here, but somehow I don't mind her, and I kind of thought I might just leave her wings off, but then of course she's like standing on that leaf or floating in the air or something. I don't know. I like her. I mean, I think she's pretty, and I think she works in the chart. I just am not one to stitch angels usually. Everything else about the chart is so pretty. The verse is, some get riches, yet are always poor. Some get no riches, yet have all things in store. Or all things store. All things. I think it should say all things in store, but I love the sentiment. Anyway, I think that's really, really pretty. This is, I think, one that I'll leave out, even though it's not really Christmassy. I think I'll leave it out because, I mean, I could even leave this out and let this be my thread of the day or something. I have a red work piece that I don't know if it's in this pile that is my thread of the day. My son's girlfriend started cross-stitching this summer, and so she was buying, kits at Walmart, and so I said, well, let's meet at Reflections, and I'll, kit you up a couple things and get you some really good cross-stitch equipment, So we got her a Q-snap and some good bowen needles and some, lovely threads and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, while we were there, I had to kit up a few things. And so this is one of the things that I kitted up. It is Madame Chantilly Halloween Goodies, it's called. And I just loved, I am not a baker. I wish I were. I am not a good baker at all. And I would love to be able to bake like this and, do a cake that has like a chocolate spider on it. And I just thought this was adorable with the little marshmallow ghost down here. And I just loved that. So I got a really decent, I found this fabric. Oh, no, this fabric, Julie found this fabric. And I think it's just perfect for it. And I, got a really decent start on it. This is going to get put away too. But I got all the hard stuff done. So now it's just fill in, fill in, fill in. Got the little marshmallow ghosties done. Yeah. So a good amount, but yeah, it's going to have to go bye-bye till like I said, I start, probably by June, I'll start wanting to do some Halloween stitching. Okay, this is, oh, I had another finish, but it's hanging up on the wall. I've been doing red work as my one thread a day, or, you know, whatever. Yeah, one thread a day. And I finished one small one and already gave away that chart. But this is the next one that I started on, ABC de Fleur by Victoria and Rose Needle Arts. And I love the letters on here. I started this last year, and I think I told you about it. The letters, it's a little challenging because the letters aren't even. Like, see how the C drops way down, and see how they're just not, yeah. But it's okay. What I loved about it was the train down here, and I mentioned that I wanted to do the train for my father-in-law for Christmas, and I didn't do it last year. Maybe I'll get to it this year. That would be really nice. But I've been working on, and I didn't have really a big enough piece of fabric. I wanted to do it on, I saw someone else do a red work piece on a tealy blue, and I wanted to try that, and I love how it looks. I think it's so different. And so I'm making progress, one thread a day. One thread a day gets me about a quarter of a letter done. So, yeah, it's going to be slow. And I started way over here because I thought I didn't have enough fabric. And I'm not doing the border because I didn't think I had enough fabric. But clearly I had enough going this way. Maybe I just didn't have enough going up and down. I don't know. Anyway, that's that. That's a really good piece to do, one thread a day, because you don't get, I like letters, but I do get bored if I have too many letters, and so I enjoy, you do one thread and you're kind of like still wanting to work on it, but you're okay, you did your one thread. And I try to thread my needle for the next day so that the next morning I can just sit down and, I don't do it every day. I wish I did. A lot of times I just forget. I don't know why. I should write myself a note. But like this morning, I wasn't able to stitch it all this past weekend, and I just had a lot of other stuff going on, and I had some crochet that I wanted to get done. But I woke up this morning like so excited because I could stitch, and then, I was excited to like finish the cats, and anyway. Okay, for the past, a long period of time, I have been in the pipeline industry, the natural gas pipeline industry, which is heavily dependent on weather, as you can imagine, for heating and cooling, right? Mostly heating. So I have watched the weather really since I was in my early 20s. I've been fascinated with weather and have I don't think there's been a day that I haven't watched the news to see what the weather is for that day. And so all these temperature cross stitch charts I love. And the first couple, they were cool, and then there's just been so many neat ones. And I bought 2 for 2024 because I just thought they were so cool. But the one I'm working on for this year, and I'm super, super behind, which, does that surprise anybody? No, it doesn't surprise anybody. The one I'm working on this year is by, let me find it here, it's called Temperature Birds. And let me find the picture. Temperature Birds by Christie's Corner. KRISTICORNER on Etsy. My hair's doing weird things. And it looks like this. And so there's basically a bird for every day of the year, and then some extra little, fireworks for January 1st. And I see a piñata for Cinco de Mayo and different things like that. So it's really sweet. And there's lots of different ways you can do it. I'm doing it where each bird is 2 colors, so the high and the low for the day. And it's a lot of fun, but it's one of those things. This should really be my thread of the day, but that would be too easy. I'm still back in January, And those are the cold colors. The reds and the blues, the deep, deep reds and the blues are the cold colors for January. So next year I think I'm doing a bookshelf. I'd like to do 2. I mean, I can't even get one done, but you know. The birds only take a couple minutes to do. They're like maybe 10 stitches each, but you know, you got to find the color and you have to, you know, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, this one is called, it's the last one that I have for today. This one is called The Spooky Teapot. It's by the Tiny Modernist. And it is, I think it's so pretty. It'll look like that. I like the moth, the mushrooms, the ghosts, the crow, all of it, spider webs. And this is another one that I started when I started like Edgar Allan Poe's Tree and all of the Teresa Kogut's. It's also on a piece of cedar river, and it looks like that. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. Lots to go. Okay, so, ugh, my hair is driving me crazy. That is all I have for today as far as cross stitch. If that's all you're here for, thanks for stopping by. Let me know what you think. The only other thing I wanted to just really super briefly talk about is books. I have read, I'm up to, I think, 40 books for the year. The goal was 52. I'll obviously, you know, exceed that. It's been a really interesting year of reading. I think I've abandoned 2 books that I've started and just didn't like. But other than that, I've read quite a few. I've read quite a few books that I gave 1 star to, and I've read quite a few books that I've given 4.5 stars to. I think I've read maybe 1 or 2 that I gave 5 stars to. But my latest reads that I would recommend, that I want to recommend, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of detail on them. I just finished today The Heretic's Daughter by Kathleen Kent. I decided, and I bought 2 charts. I didn't show those to you. I haven't started them. I bought 2 charts about kind of honoring the women and men who were killed, who were hung and murdered during the Salem witch trials in 1692. And I'll tell you how I got into wanting to read about those. I always read spooky, not gory, but spooky things this time of year. And I did this cross stitch by, it's Barbara Anna. Let's see, right there. I think it's called The Witch, the Crow, and the Pumpkin. And it has one of my favorite pieces ever. And it has a date on it, 1692. And I'm going to admit something to you that I'm ashamed and embarrassed to admit. I never knew what that date was, what was significant about 1692, about that year. And I was walking by, this is in our front room, and the fireplace is right there, and our bedroom is back behind. And so I walk by this every day, and I always look at that, and I was looking at it the other day, and I thought, why 1692? So I looked it up, and that was the year of the Salem witch trials, and I didn't know that, and that's terrible that I didn't know that, but I didn't know it. And I was like, I need to learn about the Salem witch trials, and I need to learn what went on. So I looked up best books, first best nonfiction books about the Salem witch trials, and then fiction books. And so I read also The Witchcraft of Salem Village by Shirley Jackson. And this is a nonfiction book written in the 1950s, I think 1956. And then it was re-edited and republished later. And it is a really interesting book that, there's some information and there's a lot of information that's not available. And so it's all the facts, all the things that they do know, and then, some pieces that they've put together. It, was written in the 50s. So I didn't catch that when I started reading it. And I was like, this person has a really interesting way of speaking. And then I figured out it's because she wrote it in the 50s. And so, it's kind of a little different, right? But very interesting. And then I read The Heretic's Daughter by Kathleen Kent, and that is a fictional account, but it really followed all of the stuff that I had read in the Witchcraft of Salem Village. And Kathleen Kent is a direct descendant of, I forget which one, but one of the women who was killed. So highly recommend both of those. I mean, there's no big twists or turns or anything. The Heretic's Daughter is really, it's interesting because in the Witchcraft of Salem Village, you kind of get a little bit more of the perspective of it was children who kind of started the rumors and started the stories to some degree, or propagated those. And you kind of get things from their perspective, as well as, and then in the Heretic's Daughter, you get things more from the perspective of the accused. And so it's the horrors horrible that the 19 people who died and who were murdered, but the people who rotted in prison, and many died in prison, and even were found. This was the thing that and the prisons were just horrendous. But this was the thing that just really got me, was that several people were found not guilty, but were already were thrown in prison and then found not guilty, but they had to pay their way out of prison, and their families didn't have the money to get them out. And so they literally rotted away. Horrifying. It was several years later before they said, okay, you don't have to buy your way out of prison. Anyway, really like that. Never Have I Ever by Josh Ilin. So it's JOSHILLYN, Josh Ilin Jackson. Never Have I Ever. Not like the greatest book I've ever read, but a good kind of not spooky, but a little bit spooky. Not spooky. A thriller. Let's say that. A thriller. Kind of a mystery where you don't quite get what's going on, and then it has a really good twist at the end. Really good twist. So that's a good one. There is some language in that. So if you don't like language, not a lot, but there is some language in that. This book was recommended to me, and I recommended it to several people. Hamnet, so Hamnet is the name of the book. Hamnet, by Maggie O'Farrell, Farell, O''Farell, Maggie O'Farrell. Really interesting book. Really interesting. It was one I couldn't put down. Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. If you've read other Jodi Picoult books, you know how she writes, and she's a modern day writer. There's language in her books, but that had a good twist. That had a really really interesting twist to it. And then, considering our times and what's going on in the world, if you need a lift and you just need some positivity and some some goodness, maybe is the way to say it, I recommend Soul Boom, Boom, by Rainn Wilson. Rainn Wilson played Dwight on The Office, which is one of our all-time favorite shows, or one of my all-time favorite shows. And I read his autobiography, which is called The Trombone King, which is very good. But Soul Boom is, and he's not a Christian. Let me just preface that he's not a Christian. He behaves like a Christian should. I'm going to say that, but he is a very spiritual person, and it's not a lot of New Age spirituality. It's not that at all. It's really about treating people with kindness and compassion. And he talks about the reason it's called Soul Boom is that it talks about that we need a soul boom. We need some positivity, some goodness for our souls, because this is a harsh world, tough world, right? And you'll laugh, you'll cry. You know, he's very sarcastic, but not in a caustic or mean way. He's very kind. He's very very respectful of other religions. He's very respectful of Christianity and of all religions, and very open-minded. And it's just a really, whether you're a Christian, not a Christian, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a very uplifting, positive book. And I read it kind of thinking, okay, it's not just, you know, like a small circle of people that believe in kindness and compassion. It's really, you know, really it's out there. It's just, sometimes it's a little hard to see it, right? Sometimes it's just a little hard to find it. So anyway, that's the last one. I've read several more, but that's another one I would recommend. So, okay, that's it. That's all for today. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a lovely fall or spring, depending on what hemisphere you're in. I don't even think I have people in Australia that watch me, but you know, it's always fun to say that. I hope that you're finding things that make you happy and that give you peace of mind. And I will plan to come back in, I don't know, maybe a week or two, and continue on with the WIP Parade, right? Okay, take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.